The background of the VLab trial is that we know that in heart failure patients, the initial sign of deterioration is an increase in left ventricular filling pressure and left atrial pressure, and this occurs long time before fluid accumulates, before edema evolves, and before patients become symptomatic. So the concept is, if we can measure the LA pressure early and see an increase, then we can react and change the medication of the patient and prevent decompensation. Well, there have been some other systems already tested and already in clinical use to measure the pressure in the left atrium, but these required implantable devices or surgical procedures. This is a device which can be implanted and placed in the septum. It does not need any energy, there's no battery, and it will act basically lifelong. So these are the advantages to the other devices which already had been tested. Well, the trial is still ongoing, so we just did 2 patients now, and what we learned from these 2 patients is that it's very easy to implant. It requires a transeptal puncture and then it's deployed like a PFO device, so it's a very straightforward procedure. We did not see any adverse events in these 2 patients, and we learned from these 2 cases that we can actually get very good tracing of the left atrial pressure. So the waveforms are looking exactly like an invasive measurement, and during the time the devices are in place, now we can see that there's a lot of variation in pressure, and now we have to understand and to learn what this means and how we can translate this into therapeutical consequences. So we have to figure out at which levels of changes we need to adjust the medication. We have to finish the trial. We want to enroll 30 patients. It's basically a safety trial, but we will also use this trial to learn about the recordings, the measurements we get. And then for sure we need more trials to show the clinical benefit of this concept. I think this is a field which will have an enormous impact on how we take care of heart failure patients, and we can also learn a lot out of this. Imagine we have not just 2 patients, but maybe 100 or 1,000 patients. We can monitor them every day, we can collect the data, we can correlate this with their medication, with their clinical status, with their symptoms. So this is something where we can learn more about heart failure than with any other technology we had so far available.